Hello everybody and welcome back to Steve on Steve Plays Crisis in the Kremlin. Now, in the last episode we basically got all of our economic and political setup figured out, so now we can actually dive into the game. So, some of the most important decisions are done on the map, so we're going to want to do these important decisions straight away. We're going to want to send weapons to Afghanistan, because that, you see this thing, it's control. And the higher that the control is, basically when control reaches 100, Afghanistan war will be over. And that's good for us, because we were wasting a lot of resources in the war in Afghanistan. So hopefully we'll be able to end it as soon as possible. Likewise, we'll send weapons to India, because we can start a war with Kashmir. I don't know if you can see, it's probably hidden behind the camera. There's a button here that says War with Kashmir, which we will definitely want to do, because... And then we want to fund them. And to do that, we need to have a high military power, which we can see here. Total military power, it's 5. It's rubbish. We want it to be 7. Once that's 7, we can start the war with between Pakistan and India. And once India wins that war, we can invite them into Comic-Con, which will really help our economy. So we're going to want that. So yes, let's actually spend our first turn. More pluralism. We came to power, now we understand we are only few people with certain reformist views. Yeah, no, we're not going to reform anything. Sorry, bro. We will go with Stalinism, because we want to increase Stalin. This is your council, basically. Yeah, this council shows the Supreme Soviet, essentially, and the power of each faction within the Communist Party. And we're gonna support the Stalinists. Currently, the ones in power are the moderates, and we want the Stalinists to have a majority, because then we can do certain things, like support terrorism in the US of A, and we're gonna want that. Okay, let's see. You see some countries already starting to flip from red, and we're gonna want to not do that. So which countries can we support? Let's see. We want countries with relatively high development and low revolution level or discontent. So Madagascar has 15. Okay, these guys all are viable. But our economy is not like actually... Yeah, no, I think we're not gonna subsidize any of them just yet, because our economy at the beginning of the game is pretty crap. And we need to get that sorted first of all. That's obviously top priority. So, yes, you see in our first turn we got 25 of profits. That's beautiful. We will funnel that into civil technology. And, yes, hopefully any like leftover money goes into the reserve. So that's good. Let's end the next turn. The second face of the country. Once again, Kosolapov, Stalinist, of course. Let's see. You see that's increasing in the council. And soon that'll increase. And as soon as we have a majority, then we'll be able to do some good stuff. Yep. Good stuff. SDI. It is proclaimed by the US President Reagan Long-Term Research and Development Program. In our military specialist's opinion, more precise name of the program could be Strategic Initiative of Defense, i.e. defense supposing executing of independent aggressive actions up to attack. Development does not stop and the program is seriously financed. Basically, this was Reagan's plan, also known as Reagan's Star Wars, to put like satellites into space to intercept missiles and stuff. It was a bunch of mad stuff. And, yeah, so we can protest on a diplomatic level. We will not react to this provocation. Because, well, why we'll do that I'll explain in a second. Because, we won't react, and what happens is the army and the KGB get a bit unhappy, but it doesn't harm our relations with America. We want our relations with America to be relatively high, at least in the early game, just so we can get our economy rolling. Because once your relations with America go below 0, the DEFCON level goes 1 lower. And once it's at DEFCON 2, every time it has to go lower, you have to pay 50 million for a detente, because we can't start a nuclear war, because we're not that kind of faction. You have to be Trotskyist to start the nuclear war, and there's a lot of stuff you have to do, which we won't, because nuclear war is terrible. So, okay, we have a bit more profit. We will funnel all of it into civil technology, and then what's rest, the next profits we'll put into computerization. Alright, so let's see. Hopefully our military situation. Look at that. It's improved quite nicely, so let's see if we can start the war in Kashmir yet. Let's see, war in Kashmir? No. Army combated in quantity over 70. So it has to be over 7. Okay. Political opponents. We'll lead the party against the conservatives. Let's see. Yep, okay, you see we are already the majority, but we need to have over 50% so that we can ban one of these parties. So yes, we'll wait until we're over 50%. We're almost there, so it's good. Since everything is going good. Anti-alcohol campaign. This is great. The Supreme Soviet, particularly one of its most prominent members, Comrade Ligachev, is offering us to launch an anti-alcohol campaign because lots of our citizens are addicted to alcohol. It's a massive problem in Russia. It always has been and it still is. What's our decision? We will increase the prices of alcohol. That's the only logical one. Because if we enact prohibition, then you basically get a revolution almost immediately. Anti-alcohol campaign, you basically spend a lot of money for nothing. Whereas when we increase the prices of alcohol, the consumption of alcohol decreases and we get a ton of tax money. So that's always good. Look at that. We got a bunch of money injected. So let's spend all of that. We will put civil technology to 190 and we will put computerization to as much as we can. I want to take it up to 150 because that really helps with corruption. So if we can see here, corruption is at 3 and we want it to be as low as humanly possible. Let's go. Campaign against racism. An urgent message from our Minister of Foreign Affairs. The USA has put economic sanctions on the South African Republic, which still pursues a policy of racial segregation. Should they intervene in other countries' affairs? All the world is waiting for our government's reaction. We will join these sanctions because we want to weaken their government. And the next choice that we get is very interesting. COSATU. The Congress of South African Trade Unions, including the 21st Trade Union, has been founded recently. This is the largest association of trade unions in South Africa, and this fact gives us a very good chance to increase our influence on the continent, which we shall do. We can support them in the media, we can decry them, we can stay neutral, but we will provide them full support. During the increased support from our side and the Western sanctions, as well as significantly increased funding for additional work with government and officials, the African National Congress and the communist movement began the armed struggle. Politicians of the left were fully pardoned under pressure from the rebels, though in the country sparked a civil war, but it resulted in a truce. Elections are scheduled. Who will win them? The left-wing coalition on the elections. So some of the, I imagine, have won the elections. Some of the events are still buggy, but it's a Russian group and they're working on it, so it's fine. These are excusable. And if we look now into South Africa, they're all red, and we can invite them to Comic-Con. So look at that. We've got a new Comic-Con member almost from the start of the game, and that will boost our economy. So that's great. That's always good. Alright, let's spend some of our profit money. We'll put it into computerization. Let's spend the next turn. Decrucialization. Not long before his death, Comrade Chernenko has begun preparations to restore Stalin's cult of personality and to accuse Khrushchev of being guilty of de-Stalinization of the party. At the time of his death, the party had already rehabilitated some of Stalin's close advisors, for example, Comrade Molotov. Will we continue this project? What we will do is begin the full restoration of the cult of personality, because we're Stalinists. Rehabilitation of the anti-party group was begun. Khrushchev was accused of the departure from the collectivist management principle Stalin against... I believe there's a full stop supposed to be somewhere there. Stalin again reappeared in textbooks as a great Soviet leader who rebuilt the country after the fall of the empire, civil war, and World War II by organizing great industrialization and raising quality of life, which he did. Education and raising of birth rate. Purge, Diezhov, and Yagoda were called responsible for purges, and Tukhachevsky was found guilty of the first military defeats of 1941. That's a bit hardcore. Ooh. Then Lavrenti Beria was rebuilt too. The West has already condemned it. Well, screw the West, man. Screw the West. Alright, so you see now the DEFCON level has gone under 0, so we're gonna have to do a DEFCON event. Now, relations with China. Once relations with China are above 70, we can do a friendship pact with them, which was very important. And before that, we want to keep our reserve about 400, so we're okay with that. We're not spending too much money. Let's see our council. So, next turn, I think our Stalinists should be over 50%. Nothing is forgotten. Remnants of Joseph Mengele, one of Auschwitz officers, were found in Brazil. Let's organize a meeting with the Brazilian leader. What this does is it puts Brazil as red, and we will subsidize them. Because they're a relatively developed country, and they're a big country, they have a strong economy. So having a big red country that supports us already in South Africa, as in the beginning of the game, will really help our economy, so we want that to happen. So, let's see. Can we start the war in Kashmir? Yes! Alright. So India is now at war, and you see India is leading. And as long as our military supremacy continues, which it is, India should win that war fairly straightforward. We have 100 political power, which we will use to open the Ministry of the Finance. Yes, that's important. Let's go next turn. Yes, there we go. That's the DEFCON event. Because of our aggressive foreign policies, Americans declared about rising the threat levels. DEFCON. To date, DEFCON officially became even lower. They're the main threat. We can do this only once, so now DEFCON is at level 2. As soon as DEFCON falls to level 1, we have to do the detente, and that's annoying, but we have no choice. For that we lose a bit of money, but that's okay. Acceleration. Comrade, our economy is stagnated and some comrades suggest action. Some of them want to implement the acceleration policy, which expands import, budget expenses, and officially admits economy problems. What? Of course not. No, we will solve the economy through true socialistic means. Restore a drop of methods. Campaign of restoring discipline and order in industry gave positive results. Total income increase of 3% and production increase of 4% are expected. Excellent. Alright, so we got a bunch of money and relations with China are 75. So let's do a pact of friendship. Where it is, it's here. Oh, we need one more political, we need more than, oh, we have like no political points, that's annoying. So let's spend our money, let's put it into the computerization, and now we'll put a lot of money into industrialization. So, hopefully the India war is going well. India's losing, oh, that's bad. Terrorists or hostages. In our new issue, you can read that an Egyptian plane was recently captured by Americans. The USA claims that it was used to transport terrorists from Egypt to Tunisia. Ooh. Egyptian government, represented by Mubarak, accused the USA of piracy. Now we can react in various ways, but we will invade Egypt. Dirty Egyptian terrorists decide to use force against the world, but their plans were foiled by us. Our brave forces entered Cairo to support local communists. Now that basically ruins relations with America, understandably. But if you look now, Egypt is in Comic-Con. It's beautiful. Science is going well, everything's going well, let's go. Our agent, recruitment. Today, Aldrich Ames, which was recruited in the USA, was sent to the Soviet department of the CIA, which allowed him to gain access to the profiles of American spies in the USSR. Aldrich used to drink a lot and get depressed, stating that how he is disappointed about the USA foreign politics. But now he can help for a small amount of money. We will use him once because we don't want to spend too much cash on him because we don't really need to. So now we're going to have to do another detente. Yep, there we go. And now we can't, threat levels are too high. We can't serve the West, and we can't, sadly, nobody will let us nuke our enemies. So we must begin the detente, and that spends a lot of money from our reserve, but our reserve is strong, so hopefully we'll be okay. Prisoner divisions, wonderful idea, that should help in the war in the Afghan. Yeah, India's losing the war in Kashmir, that's bad. Well, let's inject money into our military-industrial complex, because that makes our military stronger, and that's always good. Yep. Okay, so we have some political points, and that means we can do a pact of friendship with China. Beautiful. India is finally, again, leading the war in Kashmir, which is beautiful. Afghan war is going well. Everything is going generally well for us, and our economy is doing strong. So let's put more money in, let's put money into light industry. Excellent. Everything is quiet. So once the year of 1986 ends, we can invite China into Comic-Con, which we will definitely want to do. Well, let's check that out again. Right into Comic-Con. Yeah, the year is over 1986. So let's improve our economy. Let's improve our industry, rather, to make it stronger. And we will have enough science points now to make us very happy. Congress of the CPSU Congress is beginning. We must, we'll attack conservatives. And let's see. Yes, we're the majority of the party. We can ban the moderates. And now we have 58%, and that lets us do these two nifty things. We can support left. Ooh, crap. We need political power. Let's wait. Oil crisis. There we go. That's the oil crisis I was talking about. Try to slow. English. Try to slow. Sorry, English. Try to stop the slowdown. Try to stop this. Yeah, early access. Slow down the fall together with our allies. Yep, that's basically oil prices collapse. That's terrible, but what can we do? Science is at 1000. That's beautiful because now we can do this. Moon Science Station. Mir Station. Oh, that's a different thing. It's far behind and a lot has changed. Should we put it in the orbit? Yes, we will modify the Mir Station, make it better, spend a lot of money, but who cares? We'll splurge. Moon Research Station. Dear Comrade General Secretary, today is a great day for the USSR and the entire world. Our space program projects finally gave the results, and these results allowed humanity to make a great advancement in conquest of space. A few hours ago it was reported that the Soviet lunar crew successfully landed on the moon and built the station Star 1. In order to do this, it had to send 5 living modules, required tools, and Soviet lunar rover Korolev 1-1. The team, which consists of 5 members, led by the first man to enter the open space, Leonov. That was, coincidentally, the guy who was in the Apollo-Soyuz project. Sent you a greeting and congratulations with another victory. Yuri Gagarin and Sergei Korolev would be proud of us. They would indeed. Our specialists say that the current team will spend 2 years in the moon and then will be replaced with another one. Modernization and expansion of Star 1 will take place. More astronauts will be able to live here. What should we do with our breakthrough? We will show the Soviet victory to the world, because of course we will. Our declaration of the creation of the first lunar station shook the world. Photo of the Soviet flag on the moon damaged the authority of the USA government. During one of the press conferences in the White House, there was so much questions about the Soviet lunar base and the USA reaction that the secretary had to retreat, leaving journalists without information. New stage of popularity of the space travel began in our motherland. Conspiracy theorists are also very interested in it, of course they are. They say that we made a pact with alien civilizations, with which even Hitler had contacts in order to create our station where we found old station of the Third Reich. Nonsense, right? I'm sure. That's amazing. We'll use our political... Oh no, I didn't mean to click it. End of a 5-year plan, increase demands. We'll use... Oh, I wanted to use the political power to open another department, but I guess I'll have to wait. Yes, we have political power. We can start this thing called support left terrorism. That basically makes America weaker, and we will support the Gaullists in France, because the Gaullists are pro-leaving NATO. And we want them to do that because we want to weaken America and NATO. So let's see, America is a bit weaker, which is good. Sakharov's letter. In 1980, one of the creators of the Soviet H-bomb, Professor Sakharov, was exiled in the town of Gorky for his support of opposition and protest against Afghanistan intervention. Now Sakharov sent you a letter in which he promised to focus on scientific work and to stop public protests if his wife is allowed to go to Moscow in order to improve her health. It will be considered to be a rise of political freedom by the party and the world, however you can encourage opposition. I see. We'll make a sharashka. Sharashkas were basically like, they were like camps for scientists, where scientists who were arrested for various crimes, including political, were sent there to continue doing research, but under certain government surveillance. So we will do that. Sakharov's letter gave an idea to create a closed sharashka from scientists and dissidents, where they would work for our motherland in exchange for social preferences and help their relatives, like it was during Stalin's time. Beautiful. The West sees it as an act of the tyrannical regime. Well, the West can go stuff itself. Alright, we have great relations with China, which unfortunately we can't really capitalize upon because it's still 1986, which is a shame. Religious education. Our ways of freedom of conscience. We don't care what people believe in. Like, really, we don't. Alright, so our reserve are close to 400, which is a bit sketchy. We'll remove subsidies from Brazil, but now once their development is at 100, their disapproval level will not rise and they will be forever our ally, which is great. Let's see, India's leading. Let's send weapons to Afghanistan just to solidify their control. Anti-alcohol campaign. Continue price rising. Beautiful. We'll spend this money on infrastructure. We'll put 120 into infrastructure, and then we'll make these all 150. Good stuff. The Colonel from Sverdlov. The distinguished political figure, former first secretary of Sverdlov Provincial Committee, who greatly improved the local housing and supply situation, and also obtained the permission to build the local metro, now is running in Politburo candidates with Ligachev's recommendation. The decisive word is yours. We will convene a commission for a thorough check. In the course of comprehensive inspections of the activities of Yeltsin on a post of first secretary of the Sverdlovsk Regional Commission found the additions of the numbers of indicators of the supply area. However, the overall performance was positive, but admission to the candidate of the Politburo was denied. Now, there's going to be a bunch of events that surround Yeltsin, and since Yeltsin is a traitor who greatly contributed to modern Russian suffering, we won't be friends with him, essentially is what I'm trying to say. Let's see, do you want to research anything? We will re-equip the KGB to make sure that we don't have any dissent. And we will now save up for 3,000 science points for the Mars first landing. Excellent. Let's go. The bombing of Libya. After deployment of Navy in Libyan Equatoria, blaming them in support of international terrorism and attacks of airports in Rome and Vienna, the Americans have decided to make airstrikes at Libyan strategic points. How will the Soviet Union respond? Like we did in Egypt. We will start the Soviet military operation in Libya. The Soviet Union supported the accusations of the Libyan government in terrorism, and while the American Navy has arrived to its shores, a revolt began in Libya and thrown back the special forces, the KGB, and volunteers by blocking the American fleet, Soviet approved by the new governor. Typos everywhere. Gaddafi and his family were court-martialed. Well. But now, Libya is in Comic-Con, which is beautiful. Alright, let's use this political power to open the foreign ministry, and then we'll actually start doing some stuff in there. On unearned income, the Council of Ministers is offering us to enact a decree about measures of strengthening the fight with unearned income. Some party members are claiming that it is very tough and don't correspond to principles of socialistic freedom and equality. Yeah, we won't do that. Begin working on the opposite law, because we're about equality in the Soviet Union. The Moscow City Committee. This is another event about fucking... what's his face? Yeltsin. Comrade, the eminent political figure Yegor Ligachev is offering us to promote the loyal party member Comrade Yeltsin for the post of first secretary of Moscow. It won't fly, bro. Yeah, sorry, but block his candidature. Let's use some of our... Actually, you know, I think I'll end this episode here. Yeah. Alright, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this hopefully informative video. Like and subscribe, leave any comments in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, then definitely leave them in the comments below. And yes, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.